Hey, good morning. What's happening? I'm Tommy, and you are on After the Bars. It's the Morning Mayhem Show, and I got my partner. No, I wasn't going there. Got my partner Casper with me. What's happening, brother?
Nothing much, dude. Just been up since 3 o'clock. My daughter decided that she was so excited for school today that she would get up at 3 a.m.
Checks out.
Yep.
Make you happy.
Yep.
That's gotta make.
So then my wife went to McDonald's at 5 o'clock a.m. to get
Sweet.
hash browns and McGriddles.
Oh,
Shameless plug.
That actually sounds really good, believe it or not. You know, the morning McDonald's breakfast, when that starts sounding good, you've got issues. But that really does sound good. Do you remember looking at those commercials in prison and just thinking, you know, when I was on the street, I thought that stuff was trash. And then you sit in prison and you'd look at it and you'd hear people like, if you could have anything right now, like any meal, guys would go, "Oh, dude, I'd like a Big Mac." It's like, you've been in here how long, bro? Because that's the only food that they see that's dressed up every day. It's on a commercial.
Yeah.
Haven't seen any real food in so long. It's the only thing they still see pictures of the real stuff. What's going on, Johnny Scoville? Look at that.
Johnny's got a problem, man. He's out of control. Hey, there's my lovely wife.
The 100th day of school is fun. My mom was a teacher. My mom was a teacher, and they used to do a bunch of cool crap for the 100th day. Like they would every year, it was something different. One year they did 100 feet on the wall, so they painted the bottoms of kids' feet, stuck them to the wall, and they used to do a bunch of stuff for that 100 day. Everybody would bring in 100 of something, and
she got to go in her pajamas, and then they made a trail mix that has everything from Mike and Ike's to jelly beans to pretzels to peanuts, I think. Yeah.
Nice.
Sounds
going hard to the paint. It sounds tasty. Let's say hello to some people. Alicia, Tina, good to see you. Lacey Silver, what's happening? Krista Melinda, Robin Bliss, Sherry LeBron, Wanna Love. You know what? It's going to be a fun morning. Although I'll tell you what, man, the news is jacked, isn't it? There's no really fun news these days. AV Stevie says, "What's up, Sammy?"
That's my dude right there. That's a high school buddy.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. Not that we ever went to school, but we were high school age.
Yeah, no, I got that. Actually, that made a lot of sense as soon as you said it to me. Diane, good to see you. Ann from Massachusetts. Cooter by the lake. I know you thought that said cooler, but don't get. So 80 Stevie's got dirt on you. That's cool.
He's got man.
Yeah, for real. He's got dirt. File that away.
He does have dirt.
Yeah,
some pretty big dirt, actually. Yeah.
You know, because I know that, you know, crazy as it is, almost everybody that I knew from that time period is gone. And of the two that are left, one I've been beefing with for a couple of decades, which is just so effing stupid. But we'll end up leaving the planet probably without working it out, which is pretty damn sad. And my other friend, I showed you actually newspaper articles because when I was incarcerated with you, they were mailing them in. My friend in the wheelchair, he and I are still in contact with one another, but he got wicked political like 2 or 3 years ago, man. Like his politics, you call him on the phone and he'd be like, "Hey, how you doing? Your candidate sucks." You know, you can't even really get into a phone call before he would just start railing on politics. And I'm a fan, you know. Yeah, see, you gotta love that, man. I don't kiss and tell. You gotta love that. See, someone gets it.
Well, I actually we did have a beef, and I hadn't talked to him in years and years. I actually I stole a check from him and bought some pizzas with it. And he was letting me stay at his house. I was lightweight homeless, and his girlfriend at the time didn't like me. You know, Shocker. It was whatever, but it was no reason for me to write one of his checks for a pizza and I think some beer. But that's when you can write checks. But man, I got a hold of him years later, and we were cool. We talked about it, and yeah. But yeah, man, we were super close. I was his drum tech. He was in a band called The Hierophants when we first met, and then he was in a band called Magnum Force. They were really good. And then, he's just been in countless bands ever since.
Yep. You know what? We do some really jacked up stuff when we're when we're in the life. On the bright side, it was a check for some pizza. Man, I hope none of my friends come on.
Yeah, right.
They're
drag queens and I don't know what
shit. Sammy's cool, but that dude he's with is no friggin' good. I got a little far afield. I'm not gonna lie. I might have got out there a little bit. Are you drinking Diet Red Bull?
Always. There's no crash to the Diet Red Bull.
So as you're, I thought it was a weight thing. I thought you didn't mind destroying every other part of your body. You just didn't want to put on any. Hey man, I'm a Red Bull dude. I'm just the doctor told me doctor pulled the plug on my Red Bull.
Right now.
No, the doctor pulled the plug on my Red Bull. It was a bummer. And I'll tell you something. You talk about a shock to the system. Look, I've been drinking Red Bull since I was competing. You know, they used to give it to us for free, all you wanted. Like I used to take home trunks full of Red Bull. Spanky Calhoun, too. Thank God Spanks is still with us because as a kid, he would come in and go, Dad, can I go get a Red Bull? I'd be like, no, you're not drinking a Red Bull. And I know the second I left that house, we had a refrigerator in my house that said Red Bull on it. And at any given time, there'd be like 70 of them in there. You couldn't keep track of them. I know that he was try ZOA. It puts Red Bull in the toilet. Which one is ZOA? I don't think I've ever
I don't know.
seen
I'm
that.
going to try it, though. I'm going to try it. That's what I'm looking for.
You're already looking it up. I don't blame you.
I just like it just has to be sugar free. Not that I don't eat sugar. Like I'll eat a
you don't want the
crash
of the you don't want the crash of the high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah.
You know what? One of the best parts of living in this state is that you never have to drink any of that. Like I never drink. I don't drink sugared bevies. Like I don't know whether it was prison or what it was, but I don't do any of that stuff anymore. I used to drink a ton of Coca-Cola or Sprite or whatever. And I just don't do it anymore. But if I do, I buy the Mexican stuff and you don't get the high fructose corn syrup. And I'll tell you what, man, if you don't think you can taste the difference and if you don't think you can feel the difference, there's a reason that there are countries that have pulled the plug on all of that crap, man. Yeah, you know, that high fructose corn syrup is not that good for anybody, man.
Pulled the plug on high fructose corn syrup, but pushed in the plug for meth super labs.
Yes. Fent, right? If you're gonna do it right. Yeah, we can't have that high fructose corn syrup, but mixing fentanyl and xylazine and cranking out a bunch of tranks so that everybody walks around looking like Night of the friggin' Living Dead up there in Kensington, and no problem there. No problem. Yeah. You got to draw a line in the sand somewhere. Karen's got an opinion, and you know something? Sobriety be damned. I do have to. I do have to kind of agree with this. Red Bull belongs in Jaeger bombs and Jaeger bombs only. I'm kidding. Man, that is one of the hardest things to drink in the world. Oh, you're a better.
I drink some Jaeger in my day. I think Steve and
I like
probably
Jaeger. I can't imagine Jaeger in a dropping Jaeger into Red Bull though is that's a line not worth crossing. Oh, the sugar. Do you realize what the next day would be like after two of those? I mean, think of the amount of, oh, God. See, you know what, though? When you're young, you don't care about anything like that. Anything like that.
Hangovers suck.
Do you remember Purple People Eaters?
Yeah.
One of the dumbest things I ever did in my life. I lived across the street from a nightclub when I first moved to Houston when Spanky was about 2. And I mean right across the street from a nightclub. And it was like a nightclub that would have 3,000 or 4,000 people in it on a Friday. Very big nightclub. And a really close friend of mine ran it. And I went in one night and they had the girls would go around with the backpacks on that looked like a scuba tank. And they would just fill up shot glasses and stuff with Purple People Eater. And he goes, yeah, go outside and dump all those out. And I'm like, don't do that, dude. I'm like, you know, what's wrong with it? He's like, what are we going to do? Sell it? He's like, take it home. Do whatever you want. Oh, dude, I took 2 1-gallon jugs of that shit home. And I called a friend and the two of us, and I was way too old to be doing this crap, man. I mean, I was still in my 20s, but we're playing quarter shot in my kitchen with that stuff. It was one of the worst experiences of my life. And since then, I've not had a sugary drink, and I'm not joking. Like, it broke me of it. I had about a 6-day hangover. I had one of those, run everybody off in the first 10 minutes of the show, but I had one of those vomits that like that looks like something from Monty Python.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like 16 feet away, things were blowing off shelves.
Yeah.
Absolutely the worst
Give
thing
me
in
a
the world.
bucket. I need another bucket.
Well played. Nice.
Yeah.
Mr. Creosote. How do you feel, sir? Better get me a bucket.
Yeah, better give me a bucket.
A kid called 911 yesterday from drinking Red Bull. Oh, yeah. And a hit of acid previously. Well, you know what? Look, you don't always tell the person on the phone everything at once. You call up and you go, hey, man, I drank some Red Bull, right? Things are getting really weird. Then when they show up, you break the news. And I ate this little piece of paper. It had a picture of Bart Simpson on it doing this one. That may have had something to do with it, too.
Yeah.
You know, there's a shop in San Francisco that sells all that blotter. It's like an art shop or whatever, and you can go in and buy like the greatest blotter stuff from years and years ago. And it's the craziest thing in the world if you were ever a degenerate, because you can actually go in and I don't care what acid you did, it's in there. Like they've got the blotter for whatever you did ever in your life. It's in this shop, and you can buy them in like you would a sheet where you got 100 little hits. And then they have posters of it. And the only time I was there, the only time I've ever been in that shop, I had about 6 cents to my name, counting all accounts and what I had in my pocket. And I wanted to buy everything in there, dude. There were so many things I would have loved to have on the wall. The Goonie Bird ones.
Dude, it's so crazy that we're talking about acid right now, because the last time I did acid was I don't know if Steve did it with me, AV Stevie, if he did it with me, but I took some and we went to a Battle of the Bands in Reseda, California. Well, no, it was Motorhead. It wasn't a Battle of the Bands. It was Motorhead and our friends band. Yeah, and our friends band. They were called The Heretic. Opened up for them, and we went there, and it was me, Steve, this dude named John Papura, or the Dion was his stage name or whatever. He always hated me because I was a pathological liar at the time. But I took some acid. All I remember was the band's coming on and the band's coming off. All I remember was like waves of energy, and we were standing in line outside the club. It was the country club. That's what it was. And oh my God, man! Oh my God, it was crazy. That's all I remember. Yep.
You know what? Your friend says drugs are for kids. It's so true. Here's the thing. This is no joke. Up until probably, I don't know, man, maybe a year ago, like even going into prison, coming back out of prison, I had a stash of acid for the longest time that I had in my freezer. Funny story too. I mean, I had it for decades, and it was probably 9 years old or something, and I had it in there. My brother was staying at my house. I was out of town, and he's like, "Hey, man, you got acid in your freezer?" I'm like, "Dude, how much crap did you have to go through in my freezer to find the acid?" Right? But he says to me, he goes, "How long has it been in there?" I go, "Since so-and-so's wedding." Like I throw out a friend's name, and my brother's like, "Holy shit." He's like, "That's not going to go bang, bro. You got any idea how long it's been in there?" I'm like, "Well, I'm always terrified to eat it." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can do it when you're a kid, but it's like now you do a substance like that and you go, if I had put more money away, I probably could have. If I had put more money down on the house, I wouldn't know this much each month. Like you can't just go outside and have a good time. All the crap in your life will start weeding its way into your trip, and you'll just be miserable. Yeah. So I can't do this stuff. But my brother goes, I'm gonna take a hit of it. I go, I don't think it's gonna do anything. He's like, I'm just really tired. I'm hoping it'll keep me awake. Oh, it kept him awake. Apparently, if you keep it in the freezer, it'll last a really long time. Because he called me like an hour and a half into it, going, "Oh my God!" I was like, I didn't tell you to eat it.
Here's another little
since been flushed.
Yeah. Here's another little quick anecdote, and this will be the last one I'll talk about.
Who cares?
Well, no, I know. I could talk 3 hours about shit that him and I did, but we would just like go get Coke and we would rock it up or freebase it. I can't remember. I think we just rocked it up with baking soda. And we would go to the LAX airport, and his dad worked at the airport, but anyway, we knew this place where we could park in the wings of the jets when they would turn around down at the end of the runway. would go over. It felt like it was going over us, and we would take a big hit, and we'd wait for the reverb, like try to time it for the jet engine to like go. He has to remember that. But he had this old white Nissan hardbody, and we would go do that, or we would do it in his dad's little this little blue car his dad had. But
my first wife, the first time she ever did anything that had that effect, any substance that had that effect. But we were banging it. She wasn't. But it's the same thing. You get the wah 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 wah. Yeah. And she couldn't hit herself. She always had to have me do it. So I get everything wired up, and I was like, all right, give me your arm. And she's like, wait, turn on the air conditioning. And I was like, I'm like, are you hot? She's like, no, I want the sound. I want the sound.
Yeah.
After the very first one, she was like, no, put the air conditioner on. Put the air conditioner on.
Okay. Let's move forward.
All right, what do we got in the news? Bunch of friggin' degenerates around this camp.
It was Fundamental Gray. I could have sworn you had a white one. That's crazy. Let's see. What do I got? Yeah, I'm in like relapse mode right now, so I gotta just not really.
You're good.
I got Elon Musk. I got Kamala Harris. I got Donnie
let's lead off with
Wahlberg.
a little Kamala. She's always fun.
Yes, she is fun, and she's a nightmare. Let me just cue this up. So, supposedly, 60 Minutes had edited some of her answers before the election, and that's basically election fraud because you are there's a name for it. You are when you present answers that weren't given, or you give her the answer to give. That's
they colluded with her. They gave her the crap ahead of time. That's fantastic, and she still couldn't. Yeah, it's pretty sad when you know the stuff ahead of time and you're still not doing it right.
Yeah, so here's a little bit. Here's the actual answer.
But it seems
I love that.
Prime Minister Netanyahu.
Hold on, we got to get to the question.
Violated the FCC's news distortion policy. Complaints were filed after it was revealed that 60 Minutes heavily edited the raw footage for their on-air program, which was different to the footage aired on their YouTube and digital channels.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not.
We're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
Donald Trump blasted Kamala Harris and CBS at the time, saying,
"Look, that's just the first answer was word salad, right? I mean,
you can't do that if you try. I did it with Johnny one day. We were trying to spit the word salad crap out. Quibs is pretty good at it. My fiance can do it a little bit, but that takes talent, man. That really is a gift.
It's super talent. I think there's another one.
A giant fake news scam by CBS and 60 Minutes. Her real answer was crazy or dumb, so they actually replaced it with another answer in order to save her, or at least make her look better. A fake news scam, which is totally illegal. Take away the CBS license. He then sued CBS, demanding $10 billion in damages.
Yeah, that's nice. Let me find the next one. The next one's pretty good too.
10B.
But it's a pretty big deal. Anyway, let me
it's a huge deal.
Okay, whoever's in the dining room. It was me. Okay.
There was
I got another thing too. I got here's she was spotted at the grocery store. Now. And yeah, here we go. You would think she would have secret Secret Service details.
Holy crap! That's got to be a setup, right? You can't just walk up to her.
I don't think she's got a Secret Service detail anymore.
She'll have a Secret Service detail for the rest of their life. Every president and vice president has to forever. Yeah, when you leave, I actually did a story about this. God help us, a long time ago. But you get it for life. You want to hear something nutso? If you run for president and you don't make it, you get it for the rest of your life. I mean, once you're in that eye, once you get all the way to that level, they can't just let you walk around because. I mean, hell, man, look at what happens with trolls. Can you imagine if you were a president or ran for president? I mean, there's some sick SOBs walking the planet. Out of the 333 million people in this country, at least half of 1% got to be completely cuckoo.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Well, I guess Trump's just giving her the big orange, middle finger now.
Listen, man, I hate to do this, but it is a morning show and it's kind of loose and fun. I got to hear her do that one more time. I'm not joking. Yeah. Can you cue up that word salad for me one more time? The first time I was going in, I wasn't ready to appreciate just the majesty that is that absolute horseshit. That's not easy to do, man.
Yeah, no, this is awesome.
And public speakers, when you lose your train of thought, people that have been watching me long enough know exactly what happens. You'll hear me do stuff like when you lose your train of thought, you just keep talking until hopefully your train of thought comes back.
Remember that Miss America? She got asked that one question one time
about geography.
Yeah, she's like maps
are important places.
Yeah, it was bad.
God bless her, though.
Let's listen to this one more time.
Not smart.
And basically, the question was, what do you think of Netanyahu and what's going on?
The FCC's news distortion policy. Complaints were filed after it was revealed that 60 Minutes heavily edited the raw footage for their on-air program, which was different to the footage aired on their YouTube and digital channels.
But it seems Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Stop.
A lot of the crap that happened there was because we want good stuff to happen there.
To be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
Donald Trump blasted Kamala Harris and CBS.
God help us, she's magic.
Fake news.
Dude, she's literally magic.
I'm going to work on my Donald Trump impersonation for the morning show. It's not quite ready yet, but.
Yeah, former presidents are stuck with Secret Service for the rest of their life. You know what else? They're never going to drive an automobile. Right? All of the things like the life of being a normal person. This is why, when people talk about, the person became president to do this or to do that. Look, I realize, and I am of the firm belief that if you end up in the White House, it's because you're a psychopath. And I don't mean the kind that kills people, but you are a person that believes so strongly in who you are that the world isn't going to be right if I'm not in this office. Like I can fix the world is that's a pretty heavy duty thought, right? That's megalomania, right? It's the real deal. You're a megalomaniac. You believe you can fix the problems of the planet. God bless them. But if you go in and you do that, your life's over. You're not going to a movie theater. If you go to a movie theater, they got to clear the whole freaking theater out in order for you to do it.
Yeah.
Well, everything you do is going to be different forever.
Yeah. Well, the DNC has announced that, of course, she's not going to be their candidate rolling out in 4 years. And
no.
Yeah. And now Obama's saying, that wasn't her first choice. The Clintons said she was like a third string quarterback in a Super Bowl game.
You know what else?
Everyone's coming out. Everyone who supported her and went to speak for her.
I don't judge people for anything, but I think Kamala might have a drinking problem. There are some great clips of her online. If you deep dive Kamala Harris, and it's never proof. I'll give her this. Seriously, it's never proof because we don't know these people. campaign around the clock. And you know something, if you work too long and you don't get enough sleep, this one right here looks like about 7 different kinds of drug problem, right? You could be an alcoholic, you could be a heroin addict, or you could be falling asleep because you ain't slept in 2 days. But there's a lot of clips of her out there when her speech is, I mean, she sounds polluted. And there's a lot of talk on the in the YouTube verse about the fact that she's a day drinker. You know, she likes to crank it up at about 10 a.m. and wander the halls of the White House shaffazed. That's the rumor anyway. It's probably a good thing that you don't have anybody in the White House that's getting hammered.
Yeah.
Bill Connolly joked that anyone who wants that kind of power should automatically be prevented from having it. I think that that's kind of a legit thing. I've told you my battle cry, man. Simple as hell. Fix the country. No incumbents. We need 2 elections, right? Because they run in cycles. You don't really have an election every 4 years. You actually have, because every 4 years we're electing half the government, and then but if you went 2 election terms where you did not elect one mother scratcher that had ever been in politics in office for anything, you would fix this country, because you'd get all of those idiots out that have been doing this for a living, because the job title of politician is about as intelligent as what we're doing here. You know what I mean? Like it's a silly job. What do you do? I'm a content creator. I'd rather tell people I'm a content creator than a politician. And if I'm on a plane, I tell people I sell crack.
And what's crazy is that the left is always saying, and I'm centered. I might sound like a right wing crazy, but truly I am center. I'm a fiscal conservative, and lots of people say that. But what's crazy is that the left, saying, oh, Trump's family is, corrupt, and, Trump's corrupt, but everything is turning out to be the exact opposite. But they've packaged Biden to be like the uncle, your uncle, this nice guy. They packaged him and his family, but his family's super corrupt. We're coming to find out Biden's super corrupt. It couldn't, rule, out of his way out of a wet paper bag. And it's just the exact opposite. And, and thank God Trump's in there. And we'll just see what happens in 4 years. And in 4 years, what the beautiful thing is, we get to elect somebody else, and hopefully it's JD Vance.
Well,
because
something.
Wanted none of it. JD Vance.
I read all his stuff when I was in prison. His books were going around. I like JD Vance, but I think, as we've been saying from jump, right from the very first start of the Morning Mayhem Show, we've been saying this for the history of this program. I'll tell you how long we've been predicting this, but we've been predicting that 2025 is the year that everything comes out, right? So they've been playing poker. That we talk about how the prosecution is playing poker with Diddy and all this. Do you realize the games that are going on at the higher echelons of our government right now? There are people having heart attacks because of some of the stuff that's being done. But the greatest thing that has ever happened on planet Earth was when the last president was leaving, he pardoned everybody except his what? There's only one cat. He didn't do his attorney general. Everybody else got pardoned except his attorney general, which is a really skeezy thing to do to your boy, ain't it?
Yeah.
Hey, it's him. He did it. Right? He's doing the salute. The snitch blade.
Yeah, snitch blade.
The 9 telemeter.
I've been stabbed by a couple of snitch blades.
Everybody's had the snitch blade, the 9 telemeter. It happens. But what they did was they pardoned themselves. So when he left office, he pardoned his entire family. None of them can ever be charged for anything, which means if you subpoena them to come in front of a hearing or a committee, and you say, hey, were you guys doing this, this, and this? They can't say, I'd like to plead the 5th, because there's no such thing as the 5th if you can't be prosecuted. To say, I plead the 5th, you're saying the things that I'm about to say could get used against me, so I'm not going to say them, because in the United States, you cannot be compelled to testify against yourself, giving evidence that will send you to prison. If you can't be sent to prison, they can compel you to give that evidence. Honestly, what he did was probably not that bright, but it falls in line with 2025 being the year that everything comes out. Because the other option is all of these people can go to prison for 12 years. If they find out you're lying to the feds, that's a 12-year rip. right? That's what, and I know people in prison that were doing it. So they will prosecute you on it. Usually dirtbags like us. These guys will go to the beach, you know, but in theory, they could prosecute you for it. It's going to be a fascinating couple of years, man.
I'm excited.
I am too, kind of. And look, I know that there are people who are nervous about all of this, but when just some of the crazy things like, you know, the largest body on earth in terms of spending money ever has been the Pentagon, right? It's the defense and all of the stuff that goes through that building. They've spent more money than anything ever in history, right? And they've never had an audit once, not ever, not since they started, which means, you got any idea of the $1 trillion of the trillion that you know, we have these $30 trillion deficit? I bet $1 trillion of that was stolen. Got to figure at least $1 trillion of that was stolen. You know how many families out there got to just be balling immaculate? I mean, driving Italian cars and, you know.
Look what Elon's doing in his little Doge crew, man. They sent out 2 million emails giving people the option to retire and sign to cash out until September, and only 2% of only 40,000 of those have been returned, and the deadline's tonight. Yeah, the deadline is tonight for them to accept or deny. And if they deny, they have to start showing up to work 5 days a week. So,
they're going to hate that. You sons of bitches want me to go to work? The hell's the matter with you people?
I would take the buyout. Get paid till September. Go find another job. You've got a decent work history. You didn't get fired.
Decent work history? What do you mean work history? You don't even have to show up. How could you have a bad work history, Casper?
Well, I guess I didn't mean work history. I mean, you have a good job on your resume.
Yeah. You've been there for a long time or whatever.
But your resume.
Well, no. I mean, the crazy thing is, it sounds to me like, I mean, you were there for 9 years. We paid you for that time. You showed up. You might have done a little work. I get the feeling that, I mean, this is a lie, right? Yeah, more than half of this country works for the government. That's hard to wrap your dome piece around. At least I think it is. Holy crap, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we're almost socialists.
Yeah, I don't think that's what Jefferson and Franklin, I don't think that's what they all were thinking when they put our government together.
Wow, what do we got here? Just watched a documentary on HBO about the ABT. A giant takedown the Texas Rangers did. It was a great show. You know, I've always said I never bring up any of those gangs on the lifeboat. It's just kind of a personal thing. But we're not on the lifeboat. And the ABT.
I have a huge history with the ABT, but go ahead.
You know, who doesn't? Yours is going to be way more interesting.
I used to fight them. I said I was never an ABT, but we had a standing green light with the ABT, and they're all. The documentary was perfect, man. It was perfect. It painted them out just to be exactly who they were. Everything was disheveled, disorganized. Thank God, because they were all just a bunch of Texas knuckleheads. But they were, man. They were all lightweight telling on each other, and well, I shouldn't say that. They caused a lot of problems. Yep.
I was never in, but God, if you're on a yard and you find out there's 12 of them there, man, you just know you're in for a shit show. It's just going to be.
They caused me a big issue down in Pollock, Louisiana, at the USP down there. They sent me on a bogus mission, and it's all bad.
You know who's like that too? Since we're doing it, and I like the guys, man. I ain't bad mouthing them, but wherever they go, they cause a crap show in their wake. Are those unclean white fellas from down south? The DWB.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're
clean white fellas from down south.
But there's not a whole hell lot of them. There's more people saying they are DWB than really are DWB.
That's funny you say that, because a friend of mine was a DWB, and I met him in there, and he said, "Yeah, I'm with the Dirty White Boys," and I went, "Of course you are," and he laughed like he got a laugh out of me. He's like, "Yeah," he goes, "There's probably about 600 of us." He goes, "They'll claim 60,000." He's like, "You'll meet 600 of us just on Con Air. You'll meet 600 of us." Yeah. That's one of those things that everybody wants. I guess because there's not enough of them out there, they can get away with claiming it. You know what I mean? Like the upstart kind of gangs like that. People don't want to show up on a yard and act like they got nobody that has their back. So you get these people that come in all the time and be like, "Yeah, I'm with so and so." It's the worst thing in the world too when you see somebody's cards get pulled. Like somebody rolls on a yard and says, "Yeah, I'm such and such," and you're like, "Oh, that's awesome," because the head of your crew is upstairs. You need to go see him, and they go,
here.
"Yeah, you got a big homie upstairs," and it's that moment where it goes wah wah. I've been around for a couple of those. Yeah,
they're usually in the lieutenant's office by the next move.
Yep, very shortly thereafter, they're packing up their stuff.
So what else we want to look at? We can let's look at Kanye West and or should we look at Elon? No, let's look at Elon right now.
Do it up.
Let's take a look at what Elon's doing. I have to switch screen shares.
And it's funny you say that because Casper and I have been talking, and we're actually we may be voting ourselves to a bit of a pay increase. We'll let all of you know on the next show, but might just need you to step up your viewership or whatever. We're voting on it. We'll get back to you. There's Elon.
Oops. Wrong way.
Hey, how are you? Mirth is king. Yeah. Make no mistake, Mirth is king.
So there was a big protest, and what's funny about this protest, everyone who's got like these signs made that are
they
because
made the swastikas backwards.
The USA, they're all they all hide their face because they're paid operatives.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
If you see the face covered, trust and believe you're seeing someone that's getting paid. And you can go online, by the way, go online to Google when you got nothing to do, or go to Bing or whoever you play around with, and type in protesters paid and look at all of the different people out there that are willing to hire people to go out and protest. And you could trace that right back to one cat in the US, and he hasn't even denied that he does it, or he and his family. But there's a lot of this crap that goes on. When you see those face coverings, man, it's just like when these riots break out. Man, a van pulls up, drops off a half a freaking pallet of bricks. Spontaneous riot breaks out. You got people dropping bricks off at the corner. It ain't spontaneous. You know what I mean? I've never actually been to a riot, and I'm a little bit bummed out because I'm no longer a criminal. I never got to loot anything, and I know this is probably going to sound stupid and people are going to hate me, but every time I've ever seen one of those, like I remember when they were looting New Orleans right after Katrina, and I watched them running into the shops at Wyndham, the old canal and Bourbon Street. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, the number of high-end watch stores that were in at that time, like that entire mall was just like the best of the best of the best. It's not anymore, but it was at that time. And guys were running out with boxes with Rolex crowns on them and shit. And you were just like, God. But I never did that. Never did any of those things. But none of those things ever looked to me to be spontaneous. Maybe the Rodney King riots, 1992 riots.
I lived in Torrance when the Rodney King riots happened. Well, I actually was in
April 26, 1992.
Yep. And it was crazy. I didn't do much looting. I did go to, I think it was it was a Nordstrom's, but it had already been looted out. By the time I thought, hey, maybe I should go just, check some stuff out. There was like a Nordstrom's that was it was called the South Bay Galleria. And I went down there, but it was already, the cops were already there protecting it. It had already been looted. And so I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm not going to
say goodbye to your friend.
Who? My buddy Steve?
Yeah, looks like
all right. Hey, Steve, I'll catch you later. Hey, Steve, also, I want to plug your music show tomorrow, so I'll get a hold of you today. And we'll he's got a cool 80s music show. I think that's what it is. But him and his buddy, they just talk about 80s music, and it seemed pretty cool. I watched one of the episodes, but yeah.
Excellent. So that was it only took one hit to make that window drop. You know where I was that day? I was in LA the day before, right? The Rodney King riots, and I got on a jet from there going to Sydney, Australia. I was, for all intents and purposes, a pack mule at this point.
Yeah.
I was wearing some cowboy boots that were a little bit too large in size on account of the fact that they were filled with the Bolivian marching powder. But when I landed there and like everybody heard my accent, everybody I saw, then they're the coolest people in the world. The Australians are the best. They're a country you go to where everybody's cool. There's not like little pockets that are going to hate you or whatever, like everywhere else. Everybody's cool in Australia. But everyone wanted to talk to me. They're like, oh my God, can you believe what's going on? And I'm like clueless, there was no internet. There was no nothing. And I'm going, what's going on? What are you talking about? At least I didn't know about the.
Well, it turns out President Musk, that's a Freudian slip. Elon's not lying. Look, they, I think it was like 30 million for a transgender play. Like 20 million for something else. And like, so where's that money really going?
Transgender comic book in another country. Yes, Galen, send me an email, TommyScoville@gmail.com. My name @gmail.com. Some of the money that they have been cutting out of this, this is our money. I'm so glad that they're pointing this stuff out. And you know what? You have my permission, right, to be happy with whatever the hell that they were spending. If you're someone that thinks that that $4 or $5 billion ought to go to some other country so that they can develop their diversity equity programs, God bless you. I'm not mad at you. I think that it's probably not the best use of other people's money, right? Because this isn't the government's money. It's our money. It's your money. They take our tax dollars and decide that some dude, and listen, if you think it's an accident that these people get these things, if you go, why would they do that? If you're left scratching your head going, why would they do that? Because they're paid off to do that. If somebody down somewhere is getting $5 million from an American whatever, some of that money is doing the big banana-rama, coming straight back to someone they know, to some shell account, to some political action committee. But these people don't walk in worth $1 million and go home worth $500 million, right, at a job that pays $300,000 a year. That doesn't make sense unless you're cheating every way you can, and they are.
Nancy
Make
Pelosi.
no mistake that they are. Yeah, Nancy Pelosi is a great example. But way of full disclosure, shit, they're all doing it both sides of the aisle. It's so rare to come across somebody that came in worth $300,000 and left worth like, 850 or $1 million. You could see that they were doing some clever investing. Oh, hell no. Yeah. They're hitting it out of the park because they only pick winners. You know how easy it is to pick a winner? If you were in office and I was, you'd be calling me going, Tommy, what do you got? Is there anything cool going on? And I'd be like, Sam, you ain't going to believe this. But I got one for you. Here's a tip. That Delta crash that just happened, I'm on the National Transportation Safety Board. That Delta crash that just happened, that was the fault not of Delta, but of the people doing the maintenance. So you go long on Delta and you short the company that's doing the maintenance, right? You bet on one to go up and one to go down. That's not stock. Nancy Pelosi's not a genius. She's a cheater.
Yeah.
And she lets her husband do it, which is always nice.
Agreed. And she lets her husband do it. That's right.
Yeah. Who gets caught? That was a whole weird thing. Do you remember when sounds like he hired some gay dude to come out and give him a hand crank or something, but the guy's swinging this guy's swinging a hammer at him and shit in his kitchen. Do you remember this?
Yeah. You ever heard that joke? What do gay horses eat?
Hey.
Oh no.
Hey, we love all. We love all. All of all.
There's a national coming out day, right? Like in our country.
Really?
Yeah, there's a national coming out day, and my family all knows my brother is gay. He came out a long time ago. But we were having I always take him out to lunch if I'm around and if we're talking, and I said, you should call Dad today on the National Coming Out Day. And he's just like, well, why would I do that? He already knows I'm gay. I was like, but just call him and just tell him, like, Dad, I just want today's National Coming Out Day. I know you know I'm gay, but I just want to let you know that I think I'm even gayer than I was last year.
Seriously. Yeah.
He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do
Taking
it.
this to the next level.
Yeah, he wouldn't do it. But yeah, my dad would have thought that was funny. But
That
anyway.
is actually really funny. That's actually
yeah.
wicked funny.
So
you know what? I liked it when we used to be able to laugh at each other. You know what I mean? Like
we can again.
If people heard Q, if people could hear the conversations that Q and I have had in our lifetime, you have to understand that because of how the politics and the racism is in prison, it's a very different planet and a very different thing. We had conversations at least 2 or 3 times a day that things were said that would offend the world because of it would seem very racially intolerant. And those things came out of his mouth, not mine. If you could hear the jokes that dude cracks, because inside it's no big deal to crack jokes like that. On the street, they cancel them. I tell them all the time in speech, I'm like, man, you can't say these things. They're funny as hell. Because we clap on one another. Everybody talks about how racist it is. It's very separate, but it's not racist. You're never going to hear a white dude call a black dude the N-word. It's never going to happen. Or if they do, they're doing it somewhere where there ain't a chance on God's green earth that anybody is going to hear what they just said. It's a respect thing. I know that sounds crazy, but it's the truth. They keep us separate, but there's no, they're not, if you're hearing somebody say that, then everybody's got weapons in their hands and it's about to get really ugly anyway, because it just isn't that way. It's built on respect. And it's weird. It's weird as hell in there, but
yeah.
I'm describing that. I'm not describing that well, but I don't know how else to describe it. Like, I'll give you an example. The first time we went out at Terre Haute, they gave us a unicorn day, right? So everybody in the entire prison had to stay inside except unicorn. So we had the entire yard to ourselves, right? And there's only about 110 people that were working unicorn. So we got the whole yard to ourselves. You can go play handball or go do putt because there's no one else around. Yeah, we had a golf course, but there's no one else around. That makes it a whole lot easier to just go out and have fun. And it's also a day that, you know, people like to
Imbibe.
What's that?
Imbibe.
Yeah, they like to get a little bit hammered. But we get outside and I'm putting on sunscreen, and Q goes, "Give me that." And I said, You're going to put on some sunscreen?" And he goes, "Oh, I thought that was tannin lotion." And one of my friends goes, "No, I'm using tannin lotion. I don't want to burn." So Q goes, "Give me that." The guy's like, "You're going to get darker?" He put it on the palms of his hands, right? And he was doing this while we were sitting out. Now, I'm trying to explain to him that in this day and age, that joke, just me saying that joke, because we got really weird in this country. But, you know, or the other thing I was telling Q the other day is that very often, you know, he said to me the first time we met, "You got any racist bones in you?" I said, "I don't. I really don't. I'm not that dude." And he goes, "So you like black people, white people equally?" I said, "Absolutely." He goes, "What if 2 or 3 of us are together though?" And I go, "Doesn't make any difference to me." And he goes, "Ah, shut up, man." He goes, "I get around 2 other N-words and I don't even like myself."
Right.
Couldn't, if they heard him just drop that line, and if you had just recorded it, you'd be like, "Ooh, damn." But I don't know, man. It's very odd inside, isn't it? It's
Wait,
and then you get
how
out.
long
It's different.
How long has Q been at Terre Haute? Or what year was that?
What year was I there?
Well,
2000,
what year is Q still there? Terre Haute?
Yeah, now he's now he runs the one across the street. He's at the USP.
Okay. What year was he?
He's only been at 3 prisons, and they've all been ones with huge unicorns. He was doing the one down in the swamp. What's it called?
Because in 2008, 2009, and the beginning of 2010, I worked at the Unicorn Terre Haute at the Medium.
At the Medium? Yeah, at that point, he was in the swamp making T-shirts, but I'm trying to remember the name of the prison. They call it the Swamp. I know you know which one I'm talking about. It's in the South. And they're the biggest T-shirt, and they have the other Terry Mill. It is Yazoo. It's exactly what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, he was working in Yazoo, and I think they're the other one that has the Terry Mill. But he's never had a write-up, so he never got moved because of a disciplinary. They move him to clean up a unicorn when Like when you coordinate, or they're fixing something, or a bunch of people get fired and they got to hire new people and train them all, then Q will get brought in. And it kind of screws him over. Like, I guess he did not want to leave Yazoo at all. Like, he had a really good thing going there, but you know,
I heard Yazoo's really cool. Yeah.
Well, like if you're trying to party, I guess it sucks. But if you actually want to turn your life around, like there's programming and you know, there's some stuff that they do that yeah. That's different.
So you heard we had a 4th or 5th plane crash yesterday.
Yeah, this one was this it? Go ahead.
This is in Brazil, not the Seattle one. I do have some video. I'm just gonna put it on the stage.
Is that an optical illusion, Casper, or is that in the middle of the city?
It's it tried to make an emergency landing. It tried to make an emergency landing, and it wasn't able to.
Holy crap, man.
Yeah, it's just terrible, man.
You know, I'm never trying to be a conspiracy guy, but prior to the helicopter that hit our jet, the one that went down into the Potomac River, where all 67 people passed away. Before that, when's the last plane crash you can remember?
It's been a really long time.
It's been a really, really long time. We have been on such a run of safety. How do we go from that to this?
Right.
You know, you start getting into your head starts to run places. But I mean, are people hacking in with computers? Is this some kind of a protest because this new administration is shaking shit up? They're not. And one of the things that they were really unhappy about happened to be air traffic controllers. You know that to train an air traffic controller, they have a higher fallout rate than anything else you train. You got to start with hundreds of those guys to get down to about 5.
Yeah.
You know, those are men and women that train for so long, and it's such a high pressure gig. Right now, they say that most air traffic controllers are running multiple screens, and that's to say that they're doing the job of 2 people. Right. If they're running 2 of these things, it's because they don't have enough people. In theory, there should be someone sitting next to them. That's dangerous. And anytime you've got employees that are doing the work of 2 people, it's just not a good thing. How many people were lost in this, Casper? Do we know?
I don't know.
It's hard getting info, I think, out of some of the.
Yeah, it's I might have heard it, but I don't want to misquote it. It wasn't. It wasn't that many. It wasn't.
Did you say it was an Air France flight? Is that correct?
Is that what's our chat said that?
Someone asked. Juana Love asked, "Is that Air France?"
I don't know. I just know it was in Sao Paulo.
You know what? Here's Brazil. The thing. How do you argue this? I'm sorry. I'm not trying to turn this into anything that it's not. But how do you argue this? They should, just like when you go in for a job interview or you get on the bench, right, to testify or be charged in a court, you should be behind a screen. That screen should not let people see what color your skin is, what you look like, if you tattooed out, if you had really nice braces as a kid because your parents paid to have work done, if maybe they had your nose done so that your face is symmetrical. And you are more likely to be found innocent if your face is symmetrical than if your face is not. That's jacked up. If you are taller, you're more likely to be found innocent than if you're shorter. These things have all been studied. That's effed up. It's the same thing when you're hiring people. I don't give a crap if you are 3'6" or 7'7". I want my plane to land.
Yeah.
You know, all of that diversity, that's lovely. I hope everybody gets some representation, but I hope my plane freaking lands more than that. That stuff's scary to me, man. Really, really scary to me. Kristen Melinda, have a great day, and thanks for all that you do.
Thanks, Kristen. We love you so much.
We really do. Yep, top shelf, top shelf. Sorry, I fell asleep. I fell asleep watching Caddyshack last night. I shouldn't say that. I fell asleep listening to Caddyshack last night. So Squirrel Nut Zipper,
really?
because we have a new cat in the house.
Best movie in the world.
Do you know that I have the movie poster autographed, bro? Like legit, I have the movie poster completely autographed out. And yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan. Love it. Love the movie. But Squirrel now, because we have a new kitty, she stomps around a lot. She's a little pissed off. She's, you know what I mean? This was her house. This was her kingdom. And now she's got this little white fluffy thing running around, and she's not super happy about it. Like she'll sneak in the garage and sleep in my car, you know, that kind of thing. But at night she comes in and wants like nonstop affection. She wants me to let her know that life is good. Like 2 hours last night playing with that damn cat, and I fell asleep while be the ball, Karen Dawson, be the ball. 1,000 points of light, be the ball. I met Chevy Chase. I got to work with him in the movie Farm. Really funny guy. Very, very funny guy.
That's one of my favorite movies. I had one of the earliest memories of, I'm going to remove that for a second. One of my earliest memories of laughing with my dad is during that movie. And me and my dad have two really specific memories of us laughing together. And we both remember them the same. It's like one of those things I'll never forget. And one of them is during that movie when Chevy Chase pulls up, he's lost, right? He's trying to find his way, and he's like, "Hey, bud, do you know how to get to, wherever?" And the guy goes, "How'd you know my name was Bud?" And for some reason, we both looked at each other and laughed our butts off.
Mac. Yeah. How'd you know my name was Mac?
Yeah,
that guy's a great actor.
Hey, Mac. And we're also huge Fletch fans. You know, great movies.
Great movie.
My dad's a huge Lakers fan. But yeah, just real quick.
And he's asking that guy for directions because I stole the road sign, so they can't find where they're going. That's
oh, really?
I'm the catalyst for that entire movie. The reason he's asking, they're lost because the sign that says Red Bud, I just went and stole. I'm in that film. I have a speaking part in that movie.
No,
I steal that Red Bud sign, and it causes, and then I steal the Dangerous Curve sign that sends him off a cliff. You know, I had been in other films, but you know how it is. You get edited out of them. And when I got there and like saw how this was going in the script, I'm like, they can't get rid of this. Like they're going to have to jack up this whole thing if they edit me out. You know, it's one of the first times I knew I might actually end up in there. Oh, that's such a great line too. I bet you were really something before electricity.
Yeah.
How do I feel about Slapshot? Are you kidding? I'm a product of the 80s and I grew up in the Northeast, eh? Slapshot was a great movie. Fantastic. The best hockey film ever made. Good movie. Funny stuff. Sorry.
Well, that thing I brought up real quick, that's how stressful air traffic controllers are. That's live right now.
Are you kidding me?
That's in Europe and that's Europe.
So every one of those dots is an airplane?
It's an airplane that's in the sky right now, live.
God, move your cursor. I don't know if you can see mine too, but look at this area right here. Those are just planes on top of one another, directly up halfway in the middle, right there. And they're doing this in the United States anyway, wildly shorthanded. You know how shorthanded they are? They're not telling you how shorthanded they are. They love to spit out statistics and tell you that they're, 40% under what they're supposed to be. They're not telling us. That's a bad sign. We are hideously understaffed. And you know what? You can't fix it. God help us. Look at that. Well, that's because think of how many airports you got right there.
Oh, yeah. So many airports, man. But yeah, that's stressful.
You can't fix this overnight. If you just wanted to say we want to throw money at this problem and we want to get twice as many air traffic controllers in there starting tomorrow. Well, that's all fun and games and fine and dandy, but you're looking at 700 and some odd days before these people are going to be ready to sit at one of those terminals alone without somebody holding their hand, right? Yeah. They say it takes several years of training before they can get onto the floor and start the process. It's supposed to be really, really crazy.
Well, here's where I'm at up here.
Kenningston.
And it looks pretty good up there.
Yeah. Wyoming? I'm sorry. At this point, it's low hanging fruit. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like the commode, for God's sake.
Well, that's pretty cool.
And thus, it came to pass that Tommy doesn't know anything about maps.
If you hover over you see which flight it is. That is pretty dope, man. Anyway,
do you know? Yeah, I had a mod on the lifeboat that when I would travel, she used to get. There was an app, and she would put up the stuff so that people could track my plane, where I was going, and everything else. There's some really cool stuff you can do with aviation and stuff. Yes, Blessed to Crochet has a channel. She is making ripples. If you guys have never gone and checked that out, she is successfully building a beautiful channel, and she is a beautiful soul, one of the kindest people on the lifeboat. Absolutely love her. I love the movie The Miracle, the Olympic team for hockey that won against all odds, and some original team members' son played those. You know, that Olympic, that particular Olympics was in Lake Placid, New York, and I was already a freak as a skier. We were already really, really into that, but we never played hockey. We never did anything like that. But when that game was over, my father went out and bought hockey sticks for everybody in the family. Just thought it would be a good idea to have a hockey stick around after watching us win the gold. That's another one of those memories. I love stuff like that. I have memories of stuff like, with my dad, and that's one that is etched into my brain. That, moment of, do you believe in miracles? The Winter Olympics around my house growing up was like the Super Bowl, the World Series, right? The NBA championships, all of that rolled into one. Me and everybody in my family, we lived for the Winter Olympics. That was a really, really big deal.
Yeah, that's cool. What else we got going on in the chat?
So there are a lot of people that seem to think Elon Musk is a Nazi. Have you heard this? This is getting. He did that thing where he put his hand over his heart.
Oh yeah,
and it looked very much like an Adolf thing. This guy's on the spectrum, folks. He is really super intelligent. But watch this man do public speaking, and you'll realize that he's different, and his differences don't always jump off the page at you. There are some great interviews that are worth looking at. One in particular where they're talking about SpaceX, and they mentioned to him that some of the original astronauts from the Apollo program were shitting on SpaceX and talking about the fact that they thought Elon Musk was kind of a bit of a boob kind of a thing. And he started crying. And there was nothing about this that was for show. But this is, in a lot of ways, this is the smartest man on earth. And in a lot of ways, he's a boy. And these were his heroes growing up. And to hear that his heroes, weren't impressed that everything he's doing, half of that is because of how much he loved every one of those dudes, for real. And it's a really crazy moment to watch. But I don't think people have a handle on who this guy is. He's he's complex, and it's a great exercise, I think, in what that spectrum means, because for so many people, autism is someone that rocks back and forth and is nonverbal, and the reason it's called a spectrum is because it goes from there to people that are really phenomenal communicators, but have other things that affect them because of that spectrum. He's not a great communicator. And this was definitely, he was putting his hand over his heart. He was reaching out to people. I think it's a matter of being ignorant in cultural things and cultural awareness. But God, people just want to run with it. I've had people in my chat that are like,
I bet he wishes he hadn't done it.
What's that?
I bet he wishes he hadn't done it.
He wishes he hasn't done it. He hadn't done it. And there's a lot of things that, this isn't the first thing and it won't be the last. One of the things for a lot of people who are autistic is they normal social cues, things that we take for granted, is something that they struggle to process. So there's a lot of things like that just sort of miss the mark, but I think that people do everything they can to twist things into a specific narrative. I don't think the jury is out that this guy's a Nazi. I think that people really like to run with that, but that's my humble opinion. We'll have to see how it pans out.
Yeah. I did want to make an announcement though on the show. Starting next week, we will be like playing some funny court stuff. You know, I have another channel that all I do is crazy court hearings, sentencings. What do they call those when you restraining orders? So we will be like playing some of those next week. Just kind of incorporate it into the show, so it's just not us babbling the whole time, which I enjoy. I enjoy our banter and talk, and I know our viewers do too. But it's just for us to talk about, and we want to keep our thumb on the justice system, because that's where we've met and it's where we come from, and it's just fun. It's just fun.
One of the I'm looking forward to that more than anything. Specifically, I like seeing sentencing in a very big way. I like to watch sentencing. I think that there's a lot that can be learned from individuals who are not familiar with the legal system, because there are so many misconceptions, and it's crazy when you start to talk to people. For instance, you watch a video of a guy that goes into a Walmart, right? And he goes running out with $1,000 worth of stuff, and they tackle him in the parking lot, and you find out that he got arrested, and whatever goes through the court system. You see him on another video, and you find out it's the 5th time they're tackling him going out. Every person there is like, how is he not already in prison? If you knew how hard it is the first time to get sent to prison, honestly, especially if you're white, you look at people's records and they'll have 40 arrests for shoplifting. If the stuff that you're doing is nonviolent, they will give you so many damn chances, and you'll hear judges say things. And I think it's actually a public service to bring some of those sentencings to light, because most of the people in this country have absolutely no idea how our criminal justice system works, even if they studied it in high school or in college. I promise you, unless you've kind of been in it. Because you read what the law, you say, okay, shoplifting carries a sentence of up to 365 days as a misdemeanor, right? Up to 364 days or whatever in a county jail, up to 1 year. That's a misdemeanor. It's the maximum they can carry. One would assume if you got arrested and convicted for that, you're going to jail for a year.
Right.
But it doesn't work that way at all. There was so much discretion at the hands of the judges, and the deals that are made between the prosecutors. I was married to a defense attorney, and she used to have lunch with the prosecutors. Like, that never made any sense to me. They sit down and they haggle, and what that means, right? So Casper's getting, Casper's one of my cases, and I'm a defense attorney, and I come in and I go, hey man, you're looking for 10 years for this guy? This isn't a bad dude. He's never done anything violent. I don't want to get, we're trying to get him 5 on this. He's got a family. And the woman goes, yeah, 3rd time coming through here. We're going to need 10. And I go, come on. No, listen, I want 10 on this guy. In exchange, I'll give you a deal on the next dude. So Casper's lawyer goes, okay. Because in Casper's lawyer's head, the next person who they already know they can charge him more money anyway. And they're going to go in there and cut a deal with that person and say, listen, I might be able to get you 5, knowing full well the deal's already been cut, not because of any merits of the case, but because they cut a deal on Casper. And I promise you, this crap goes on 365 days a year in this country. It's disgusting.
No, I see it. I see it. I have a few judges, and we'll be playing these guys. That'll say, were you retained, or were you this or that? Or were you appointed? Right. And once they say they're retained, the judge's demeanor completely changes.
100 out of 100 times.
Yep, 100 out of 100 times. And
once
that's the good old boy network right there. Which I'm not mad at. I'll tell you
how sad. Well, I hired the most expensive attorney in the city of the city I was in when I got sentenced for the pews, not the bank robberies, but the pews. I couldn't have my wife represent me. She was my attorney, so I had to hire one, and I hired a very good one. And the judge thought this fool was a public defender, because sometimes if you couldn't afford one, they go through a rotation, and you may actually get the best lawyer in the city as a public defender. They're not going to work the same way. But if that fool had told the judge, I promise you that was the problem. When we got to the very end and he said, I don't know if there's going to be an appeal or whatever, if you'll handle it or it'll be a different public defender. And he said, Your Honor, I was retained in this case. And the way he looked up, I knew that if they had figured that out earlier, I might have gotten, because they threw the book at me, bro. Like they broke it off. They didn't even I didn't even get the low end. Paying the highest dollared mouthpiece in the city, I didn't even get the low end of the sentencing guidelines.
Wow.
I got absolutely hosed. We have not talked about Kanye yet. Or can we just call him Ye? Are we calling him Ye? What are we calling him?
Ye's good. We can call him Ye. That's what he wants,
Yayo.
right?
Yayo. Yeah, I don't have a problem calling him what he wants.
They like him. No, but we do have some good stuff on Ye. So supposedly he made a tweet yesterday or the day before saying free Diddy or free Puff.
Yeah, free Puff.
And I do have some screenshots.
There are a lot of people alleging that he is going to be reaching out to the president of the United States, right? You're seeing this a lot in thumbnails, and there are people that are doing some lives talking about it where they're saying that Ye, and yes, Lisa, that's exactly what happens. If it's punishable by more than 365 days, it means it's a felony. That's the difference in the United States of America between a felony and a misdemeanor, among others. But in terms of incarceration, misdemeanors carry county jail time, but county jail time is not supposed to go over, and it can in some unique cases like it's doing in California because of overcrowding. But normally, anything over 365 days is a felony, and you're going to prison.
Yeah. So here we have Ye's tweet where he said free Puff.
Hey, Spanky.
And of course, nobody agrees with this, not even one person.
Not even Ye.
Not even Ye.
He's trying to drum up publicity. We can all see that, right? The naked girl on the deal, and he's tweeting again for the first time in how long? Ye's trying to gin up a little excitement for his wife, and the rest of it. Yeah.
And so here you have people saying, you're trying so hard to be relevant by being controversial. Absolutely. Free Puff is the craziest thing Ye has ever said in his entire lifetime.
Wait a second. Do you have any idea what a statement that is? It's not like saying that's the craziest thing Sam's ever said, right? Or it's the craziest thing that Calhoun's ever said. Welcome, Spanky. No, this is the craziest thing that Ye has ever said, or Kanye West, as we sometimes know him. Now, is it that insane, though? Because we know that one of the allegations that is currently out there in the civil part of this alleges that he was with Diddy for one of these essays, right? So maybe maybe they're a little closer than you think, or maybe they are pretty close. Kardashians. Yeah,
they are pretty close. Here they are somewhere. I thought I had them marked. Here they are again, hanging out. Whoops, wrong story. There's one where he's got Ye in a headlock, and if it was anyone else putting Ye in a headlock, he would not let that happen. But to show how close they are, putting him in a headlock, that's no,
there you go.
Or having his arm around him like that. Do you know what I mean? Not everyone can do
that. Not everybody can do that, at least not before some chemicals being added to somebody's drink. The thing with this guy is that he is a very unique character, and I feel like, unfortunately, he is entertaining in all of the wrong kinds of ways, and he's doing things to try to be relevant in a day where relevance has become as important to people as food, water, shelter, love. Relevance is now actually, a part of the hierarchy of needs, and social media has done that. And this guy really feels that. And you're hearing that his ex is freaking out because this girl's getting more attention, and people are comparing the two, and apparently she's losing her mind. And the fact that people are following it and talking about it proves that the guy kind of is still relevant. And sadly, I think it's like being at the zoo and looking at something on display. It's tragic. He's mentally ill. And I think that we're looking at this like it's a video, or like it's some kind of entertainment. I think this man needs a lot of help. I really do. I think he needs a lot of help. I don't think he's stable. and the decisions that he's making. I mean, honest to God, as horrible as this is going to sound, if you woke up tomorrow morning and you heard that this guy did something, you know how insane whatever he has to do has to be for someone to be surprised at this point? That's scary to me. When people that want to be relevant have to keep pushing the envelope. He marched his girl out, almost naked. Well, that's not really shocking to too many people anymore. Apparently this girl spends a lot of time naked. She's sort of an exhibitionist anyway, is what a lot of people are saying. But this guy's, he's just out there. And I think that the word conservatorship is scary. No one likes that because we equate it to what happened to Britney Spears and they stole all of her. But what do you do if someone is out there screaming about, Jews being the bane of the most evil things on the planet and free Diddy and all of the stuff that just seems like the guy's not all there.
There was some other stuff that I didn't make screenshots of, but of him really super anti-Semitic comments that he's been making lately.
The ugliest, most racist stuff in the world. I mean, it's And I'm not for policing people's speech. I mean, if you want to, you have a right to be an asshole in this country. If you want to be a racist piece of crap, we protect that underneath, under the Constitution and free speech. That's the thing. But I think that the people around him who care about him maybe need to do some kind of intervention. He claims that he was drugged by the Kardashians against his will, and that he is recovering from that. I want to tell you something. I took some medication last year that almost destroyed me. I mean, it screwed me up so bad it almost cost me my channel. It almost cost me my fiance, and in a lot of ways it was threatening my life. There are some really heavy psychiatric medications out there, and I don't know what they tried him on. For all I know, they could have tried him on what I was being tried on. But I think he's unstable, and I don't think they did a lot to help it. I think they are the most evil people that, honestly, of all of the people that I have researched on YouTube, to try to start doing stories on or whatever, I'm impressed to come across anybody more evil than the Kardashians. That's my opinion. That is my opinion, and I'm sticking with it.
Have you seen this stuff about the national anthem? We have our national anthem, and then there's the Black national anthem.
I heard something along those lines. Nothing like trying to divide us. Yeah,
it's super divisional, and there's of course, what's his name? Patrick Mahomes came out and said, like, what are you guys doing? And Travis Kelce's, he's getting a bunch of flack for, saying, he's proud that President Trump's going to be at the Super Bowl. All the Swifties are coming out, yelling and screaming. But there's this guy.
Well, it's Taylor Swift's fault that Trump's president. I'm not sure if you've heard this. But on the left, they are blaming Taylor Swift and her army of Swifties for not doing more to elect that woman that hammered out that wicked word salad earlier on. The thing is, with the time and the place when to get in Europe, and then there's the stuff we did concerning that caused the spirituality of the economic help. I think she's a day drinker, bro. Yeah. That's my humble opinion. I think she might get soused first thing in the morning walking the halls of the White House. I'm surprised to hear they're not going to run her in the next election.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, she checks all the boxes. You know what I mean? She's still a woman. She's still diverse as hell. Maybe she's not gay. Maybe they needed that one. They do want to check all of those boxes. But I don't know who they're gonna run out. Who's the runaway in that party? Who would you say is the heir apparent to the Democrat throne? Anybody out there? If you know who do you think would be? Are you thinking Gavin Newsom? Maybe.
I think
he's done a damn fine job with California.
Yeah, I think especially what's happened in LA. I think it would be between Gavin Newsom and but I think they're saying that there are two left, and they know they need to reel it into the center a little bit. I don't know enough about that side to speak on it. I mean, I don't want to ever regurgitate or do some pseudo intellectual stuff on our show. I don't want to start making that a habit of mine. But I know there was talk of Gavin Newsom, but then I heard this morning something that he's just a little too far left and that he's not a great manager. And what people are looking for, it's obvious by our last election, people are looking for great management. They don't want to.
They're looking for a change.
And so the left has seen that. They're like, okay, the American people have spoken, even in the swing states, all 8 swing states have spoken. They want someone to manage the country, not to be a politician and make all these false promises and nothing ever gets done. And look at Trump's getting things done like quicker than any president in the history. And I don't say that
came out flying.
I say that as an observer of what's happening.
No, well, everybody's comparing the amount of work that has been done. I think he was definitely ready to hit the ground running. Jennifer Baker says, word on the street is that Ye is addicted to NO2 laughing gas, nitrous oxide. It's even been alleged that he has his dentist delivering the huge medical-sized tanks to his home. 90 pounders. Love them.
So I've been there with laughing gas. My friend in high school and my buddy Steve can probably remember this guy. We would steal tanks from his dad's dentist place and fill up balloons and pester. But I don't see how it could be addicting. I'm sure it can because anything can. The ritual of it can be addicting.
I did a grip of laughing gas. We used to call it hippie crack, and I used to sell it to get from one concert to the next. And I've done whippets and the crackers that you got to do this way. I've done them in the guns where you fill up what should be a seltzer bottle, and it can take 2 full cartridges, and you would load it up and just do it that way. And I sold big balloons at Grateful Dead concerts. That was kind of the hustle. I was unaware of the fact that people are talking about addiction to laughing gas until 72 hours ago when deep diving a different subject matter. And apparently this is a real thing. There are people that develop very much like a crack addiction and they sit and hit it like crack, and they'll do it. It's one hit and it only lasts you about, the initial rush is only a minute or so. And then you feel a little bit different for maybe 5 minutes, it doesn't last for a long period of time, but they're talking about this as if it's real, and perhaps he's doing it. I watched guys and gals at concerts. I would sell a $5 balloon, and a $5 balloon was, I'm talking about huge. Like you could pass it around to 5 or 6 people. And there were people that would come back with their lips blue, and it makes your voice go low instead of high, right? So instead of doing it like the laughing gas where your helium where your voice goes high, it gets really, and people would come back with their lips purple, and they'd be like, I need 2 more balloons. And I'd be like, back off and come back in about 20 minutes, dude. You're scaring me, because people do die from it. But what she would be talking about in this is something that is that the rich do, where he's not doing nitrous that way. What he's doing is he's bringing in an oxygen tank with it. And I don't know this, but this is how the people that are into it do it. They cut it with oxygen so that you don't have to take a hit. You can continually breathe this stuff. And allegedly, that's what happened to L. Ron Hubbard, which is why that dude had the baked bean grill. He had a out-of-body experience that may have started this whole kooky religion while tripping his nuts off on nitrous oxide at a dentist. Allegedly.
Interesting.
But that's probably how he would be doing it if he is doing it. Whatever he's doing, stop, right? Back off, man. Harm reduction. Yeah. Maybe pick a new substance, because the one you're doing, damn. Everything he's doing is just making him look unstable. It really is. It's making him look unstable. And I mean, do you think the guy's mentally ill, or do you think all of this is a show?
I think there's a little mental illness. and then I guess even if it is for show, I mean, that's crazy in itself, right? I mean,
Yeah, that's an
to
interesting
feel
point, Casper.
yeah, so yes, there's definitely some mental illness, but I mean,
The anti-Semitism stuff. I mean, look, you know what? Whatever your take is, where are you moving? You know?
but then I see.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt. But then I see
Okay.
videos of him with his mom when his mom was alive. Rest in peace. I see videos of those two together, and he was so normal with her. But I mean, I guess that makes sense. It's a safe place, you know. I guess he would seem super normal, but he just seemed like a completely normal guy with her. I'll find some videos for tomorrow to if we're still talking about Yay tomorrow. Of videos with him with his mom, and he just looked like the most loving, normal son. She was so proud of him, of course, and
Yeah.
but
Well,
that
I mean,
could
the
be-
guy's a tycoon. He built he built himself to a billionaire, and you know, there's a you know who Orlando Brown is.
Mhm.
Because he is just there's a video of him out there now where he's talking about Kanye, and he's saying, you know, Kanye's talking about all of this stuff, but he says Kanye took the payout too. That Kanye is part of all of this. That, you know, he's just as dirty as Diddy, but this is a guy that got so huge and so successful and really was. I mean, he didn't get to be as popular as he was by being a lunatic talking about how Jews need to die and whatever. He started out as a very, very marketable, good-looking, talented guy.
Yep.
He seems to have, you know, Jennifer is thinking maybe it's self-medicating. Something's happening. You know, something is happening. It's either. And Lisa Trimble says it's mental illness and arrogance. I think it's probably a combination of both. And I think that, unfortunately, very often these people get surrounded by only two kinds of individuals. The people that want to help them want to put them into a conservatorship, get people over them to control that money so that they can't go and do crazy things and cost themselves their careers. And they look like the enemy, obviously, especially if you're mentally ill. You're like, they want to take my money. I'm sorry, you want to do what? Right? Like you want to Britney Spears, you know, me and that stuff. And the other, and medicate him, of course. And this causes more paranoia and everything. And the other half are yes men. So that when he says, you know, Jews cause every problem in the world. Damn right they do. Yeah, you got this, man. Damn right. Bad bastards.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't think he has great people surrounding him currently. I think right now he's probably got some sycophants, some yes men. And I'm sure that there are people trying to get him put into conservatorship. That's always going on when people start saying weird stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
It really is, right? It's disturbing to me that that we've been watching this guy forever.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was just thinking about the stuff I seen too with when he was trying to win Kim back, you know. Some of that seemed a little off the rails when really, you know, he wasn't accepting that she was divorcing him. So you know, and I'm in no way a Kardashian fan, but she, you know, finally had to like file and like send it to him and like, look, this is happening, you know. And he just wasn't, you know, like all these like radio shows he was going on. He was, you know, like, no, I'm not doing this for, you know, the only reason why I'm doing this is to get my wife and kid back, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they medicated the crap out of him, and according to him, right, to try to get her back, they medicated the crap out of him. He claims that it was a power play. They said, you know, yeah, you can stay in the marriage, you can do this, you can do that, and they were going to drug him enough that they could bring in the same hit woman that helped, you know, set up the conservatorship for Britney Spears. And there are people out there that allege that most of the money that got whacked out of that account ended up in the hands of the Kardashians through the woman that she is in business with in that kooky church that she runs in California.
Yeah,
because you look at that Jenner woman and you think to yourself, church. That woman right there screams churchgoer, doesn't she?
Yeah. Yeah.
God help us, man. Did he traumatize the guys from day 26 so badly that one of them got diagnosed with schizophrenia and bipolar and has to take some time of injections and antidepressants daily? Yeah, he takes a monthly injection in his arm. But just as importantly, that entire band, they recently sat down for an interview with DJ Vlad. And during the course of the interview, Lou Taylor, she's a piece of work, that one. And that's the female Lou Taylor. There are 2 Lou Taylors, by the way, but this is the woman that they're talking about.
Not the boy band guy.
Not yet. So the day 26 guys, I think there are 1, 2, 3, maybe 6 of them, either 5 or 6 of them. And they were on an interview with DJ Vlad. And one of them was describing what he had gone through. And he doesn't say our word. He doesn't say exactly what it is, but he says, all I really wanted, he said something about not snitching, never being that guy. He said, but what he really wanted was an apology for. And then he stops and he says, well, for something that I can't talk about here, Now, that doesn't mean it was an essay, but within 3 minutes of him saying that, every single person in that room was weeping. And these are big, proud black men. You know what I'm saying? And every one of them was sitting there taking tissues and passing them around to each other. This ain't for show. This was not something the guys were trying to put on. If they were, every one of them needs a different career because they're the best actors that ever lived. It's a very, very uncomfortable thing to watch people wrestle with their past like that. But it was really obvious that that's what was going on. Now, if you're not familiar with Day 26, this is a band that was put together by Sean Combs, part of the making of the band thing. So you're probably familiar with Danity Kane because there's been a lot of stuff in the press already about Danity Kane. That was an all-girl band that he did through
Sorry,
the band.
did you hear that?
He also did Diddy Dirty. Nope.
Okay.
Diddy Dirty Money was another one that he had made. But the male version of Danity Kane was an R&B group called Day 26. And by all accounts, these guys got abused by him. Now, what form of abuse did that take? They have not specified at all in the short interview that they did in section 5 of this interview with DJ Vlad. Is in that short segment, you can see that every one of these guys in one way or another, either they're feeling for their friend and what he's endured enough that it's making them all weep, or at some level they were all kind of abused by it. So 5 of them, I was not 6. I apologize. There's 5 of them. See what it's like when you got somebody with talent lying around this
and
campus.
the things that I was feeling
talk about
are coming to light now, and I'd be like, "Whoa, that had to be God." Intervening and
Absolutely.
removing me from that situation because it could have got really, really bad. So,
Yeah, man, I'm sorry to go through that.
it's okay.
Yeah. But at least they found something that actually helps you out to stabilize you. 'Cause I think
Yes.
a lot of people, they self-medicate,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's with pills or
Right.
whatever else. Yeah, man, I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah, I'm okay.
That's heavy, brother.
You know what? And if you keep going, they really begin to lose it. The guy on the with the white thing on the top of his head,
Goofy or something.
yeah, it looks like kind of like a Koofy. The way his legs are going back and forth, like, man, we've been there. Like if you watch the body language
Yes.
of this guy, and the guy sitting directly behind him is working his lips, right, to hold those so they don't start doing this number. Everybody in that room is going through it in their own way. And the guy on the far left is the one that beat me. It's super heavy. These are tough, grown men, and this is I think a really interesting snapshot. Shout out to Vlad. And look, man, Vlad gets a lot out of people. Sometimes that gets people hemmed up, and he's taking a lot of crap for that. He had it on KVD, and KVD basically hung himself on the Vlad TV show, man. He went on there and put himself at the crime scene and talked about all the stuff that happened like he had immunity, and he didn't. So Vlad takes some crap, but he gets great interviews, and he does great interviews. This one is nothing short of incredible. It really is.
I'll put the link in the description.
Yeah. Can you play that for like another minute, or is that all we got? Yeah.
Nope, I got the whole thing.
Not good, bro.
Not good, bro.
Give you guys a minute.
Yeah, I guess
Now
like
dude's putting on his sunglasses.
I still would have been secret about it. I wouldn't just like snitch.
Yeah.
Cause I'm not no snitch. Like I was gonna just deal with it. And I don't know why somebody that evil would.
She broke my glasses.
I don't get it. I don't know why somebody would do that to a talented, passionate people.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we talented, passionate people. I don't understand. No, it's okay, bro. I don't understand why someone would sit down and think about hurting someone. I don't know. And or laugh about it after they do it, you know. Like, I don't get it. That's why I said none of them are innocent. I'm not here to expose anybody, but none of them are innocent, man. Like, none of them are innocent. Y'all all coming after this man for millions of dollars when y'all were a part of it as well. Y'all were down too. Like, that's not fair. That's not fair to him. It's not fair. Fair to me.
It's not fair to people that with actual story that actually been affected by that. Because then it make everybody seem like they just try out to get something or, you know, whatever, opposed to it being real people that went through real stuff, you know.
Did you ever confront Diddy?
I kept trying to get in contact with him because all I wanted was an apology. All I kept saying, like, could you apologize? Like, could you just apologize for what I can't talk about right now? But I just wanted to apologize.
Wow.
Because something was wrong with me, man. Something was wrong. And like on your last Vlad interview, you could look at me and tell like something was wrong. Like I wasn't the enthused person. I wasn't cute. I looked like stressed. I looked like I was in a dark place. So like,
God help us, look at him.
Wrong. Like
that's just I am just for a TOS. I can't play too much of it if we're not reacting. But
look at him.
I am blown away right now, bro.
And can we say this real quick? Shout out to all of these dudes, right?
Yeah, dude.
Everybody needs to stand with these people and tell them that what just happened is courageous, because we're not saying that we know what happened to Bieber, but tell me you don't want to see the healing that these guys are going to be going through happen for that kid and for anybody else in this industry that kind of got grinded under the wheels of this Hollywood machine. Because look, man, you've done enough time. Black dudes you don't see black dudes crying around a lot. They're very, very proud. Yeah, that's
blown away, bro.
Blown away by that, right? And for the whole band to be as torn up as they are, I'm hoping that these guys. I hope that this catches on. I hope that these people realize that takes way more guts to stand up and honestly talk about what you've been through, and that is a healing process, man.
That was only 2 days ago. I didn't know that, man.
Yeah, I had it queued up to talk about yesterday. I didn't actually get to do any Diddy stuff yesterday. It was kind of a busy day with what I was doing with Atwood and with everything else. But this is definitely a story that I wanted to hit on because, and I touched on it briefly yesterday. These are big, strapping, young black men that obviously were very greatly affected. The clip right at the end there, were right before we signed off. That look at him in the back, man. God, you imagine going through the kind of stuff that we all assume we know what this was. Maybe we don't. Maybe they were just being beat on physically or whatever. But it's enough to bring him to tears. You tend, especially because it's Diddy, you tend for your mind to go into the worst possible case scenario. And the fact that he goes and then laugh about it afterwards. That's been a recurring theme through so many of these lawsuits, right? We keep hearing again and again, the horrible one we heard the other day, the worst so far of that I think, the girl that's vomiting while they're doing this and they're laughing at her while they keep going. So you kind of got to assume that these guys are talking about the same kind of thing. Imagine being forced then. All right, you're going on DJ Vlad. Come on, let's go. Not the one we saw them in black, but the previous one. He looked like that trauma was a couple of hours old. I can't imagine what they went through, man.
Dude, I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission, brother.
Yeah.
I'm on a mission.
That's 2025, man. And who cares, right? This is the I hope that this one gets everybody's attention. I really do. I hope that everybody remembers this one. We're probably going to pull it up a lot because this is why this is important. This is why you don't stop talking about it. This is why you don't move on to the next story. You remember that cat named Luigi? How fast did we move on to the next story? No more money's coming in. They're not raising any more money for his legal defense team. It's just sort of tailed off because everybody's moved on to the next story. In 2 more months, no one's going to know who he is. That's kind of how this goes on. This one can't die. This story has to remain in the press, or I promise you, something's going to happen that ain't right. The way that the Epstein thing, we took our eyes off of Epstein, and look what happened. This is a case, and this is a movement that needs to happen for real. We need to be able to shut this crap down so that people like Justin Bieber or like these great young men from that we just saw from 26. These guys don't deserve. They don't deserve this shit. None of these guys deserve this. Just because they wanted to be artists. And by the way, I was playing a little bit of their stuff yesterday. These guys are talented. You know what I mean? And I'm not bagging on certain genres, but these guys can sing, right? This is just people that want to be successful. I do love the fact that those cats were supporting each other the way they were because these bands are engineered. They're not going and finding guys that went to high school together and stuff, right? They are engineering these things and bringing these guys together. It looks like they brought together a good group of guys. These guys were there for each other. I think that was beautiful to me anyway. I loved that the support. And I loved that nobody was doing the, hey, pull that in or whatever. It was, hey, let that crap out. I love that. Yeah. That was a beautiful, that honestly, aside from that.
And you can see how tough they are too. Because you know how like if someone's like trying to console you, like, oh man,
I'm going to get through this.
Like, look, I want to feel it, and I want you to comfort me, but like, just leave me alone for a second, And dude, heavy stuff. I can't believe we just like accidentally like landed. Not accidentally, you knew about it, but if I would have known that, that would have been our top story, and not. Well,
do you know what? That's about it.
Just
Sadly, there's about a 5-minute clip on this puppy, right? That's really about all you're going to get out of it. I mean, there's that's the meat and potatoes of it, anyway. I watched.
And really, pardon my language, excuse my language, but fuck Kanye for saying "free Puffy," dude. He's a piece of shit, dude.
He is, and sadly, for a really long time, the old adage, there's no such thing as bad publicity. If they're talking about you, it's because they're talking about you and you want people to talk about you. Well, I promise you, there's bad publicity, especially in this day and age with what we do. But Kanye West is trying to manipulate the entire world into looking at him. I mean, that was the deal. He wants us talking about him. He puts the cryptic crap in. He's got to go out there with no shoes on, right? He has to go out there with no shoes on because he's got to dig at Adidas. And Calhoun says in his mind he's a god, and I think the proof of that is that he's calling himself Yezus too. I don't know if you've seen that, but he's doing he's a piece of shit. I'm sorry, he really is, and I don't want to tag down people that have mental illness, right? But the problem is if you're mentally ill and you've got nobody stopping you, the amount of damage you can do with hundreds of millions of dollars is incredible, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the name of his album, apparently, is Yezus. That's really classy. But he comes across so narcissistic. Yeah, he sure does. And the world that these people live in, this is why, folks, I lose my stuff. The world that these people live in, we paid for it. I promise you. The Kardashians, the Kardashians? I mean, honestly. So if you say Kardashian, the world goes, it's just known. They're billionaires. They're influencers. We listen to what they say. They have products that get sold. Why? Because the mom talked the daughter into doing a porno that they were going to release without a label. and they would make it look like a sex tape got released and everyone could see her giving Ray J to business. This is what made these people worthy of giving our money and time to. We watch these people, they get paid. That's how it works. Your viewership is now worth more than you can imagine. And if you shut it off, if you stop looking at these asses on their platforms, they stop getting paid. You know, if you absolutely have to watch them, watch someone else talk about them. Let that person get paid, because these are evil people, folks. No shit, these are evil people.
Yeah. Because there's plenty of people talking about them. Watch that.
That's what I do. Like the Grammys. I got everything I needed to get out of the Grammys by supporting small content creators, right? That go out and do what they do. But there's no way I'm letting the Grammys think that, you know, the people at Nielsen, you think I want them thinking that I supported that shite?
Yeah.
Right? That absolute con game. No joke. It would be like Casper and I starting an awards. You know what? We're going to need to come up with an award. We'll call. We need an award that we can give out here on the Mayhem Show, right? Kind of like our own personal Grammy or whatever. And we won't give it to anyone who actually deserves it. No, nothing like that. We'll wait until somebody gets a channel or something that's up and running, and then we'll reward that channel as long as that channel will do something for us. Yeah, right. We'll do it that way, because that's all the friggin' Grammys is. The Grammys are used to sell concert tickets. The Grammys are used to sell albums. They're going to choose. And you know what? Sean Combs went out and absolutely slipped. Probably had one too many pills or whatever that night. Got his snoot a little too deep into the pink Bolivian marching powder, right? The old Tusi. But he came out and said, "We're after your souls. We decide what's cool. We decide what your kids listen to, what they dance to, what they buy, how they sag their pants," right? All that. He got in your face and told you exactly what's going on. And how do they do it? With a ton of help from people like Sir Lucifer, right? Grange up at Universal Music Group, or with any of these people that have the ability to decide what we're going to listen to. They're going to decide what's cool. You know, we assume that we hear a song and we go, well, we made that song a hit, right? We all loved it and we all like demanded to hear it. That's not what happened at all. They decided which song you were going to make a hit, and then they shoved it down our throats. Then they played it enough to where it becomes an earworm, and the next thing you know, you're singing it. That's pretty damn sad. But it's a lot more sad when the person doesn't even have the talent to make it. They took it from there and said, okay, this is great. We can create these. Well, then let's just go get a couple of friends and we'll make them stars. But we can't do it for nothing, so let's make them blow us.
Yeah.
Holy hell, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have. Yeah. I got to do something. We need to have someone write us a theme song, because I just licensed our theme song with Universal.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah. So
we're good to go. Now we just need one.
No, I mean, I didn't know Universal was all part of the problem, or else I wouldn't have purchased that theme song. I just really like it.
Yeah. Well, no, but you know what? It's almost impossible. Yeah, it's almost impossible to get away from. I had somebody do one for me on the Lifeboat. The Lifeboat actually's got a really cool song out there that a guy did with the beat machine and all that. I'll send it to you sometime. It's actually really, really cool.
Yeah.
And he just did it off the top of his head.
Friends that are in bands, and my brother's in a touring band, and so like I'll have someone write us a cool theme song. But I really like the one we got. But you know,
I do too. I believe that we're going through an awakening, and celebrities will be looked at with absolute disdain. I would like to believe that the day is coming where we don't necessarily look at the entertainers that are out there with disdain. I just would like us to look at them kind of like you would a plumber, a lawyer, a doctor, or a football coach. You're just another person with a friggin' job. You're not smarter because your job puts you in front of a camera, right? You don't corner the market on morality. These sons of they get up at these award shows to tell us how we're living bad and we need to save this or save that. I got an idea. Go clean up Hollywood before you tell us folks out in the real world what we need to clean up. Clean up your backyard.
Yeah.
For real.
That's
I'm tired of hearing that crap. What's his name summed it up. Get your friggin' award, shut the F up and sit down. Nobody wants to hear about your, no one wants to hear about your, whatever your pet project is. I'm sorry. I remember one of the only, let me tell you, no joke. You know how long it's been since I've watched an award ceremony? I watched the Academy Awards when Forrest Gump that year. That was the last time I watched. But I watched one when Letterman was giving an award, and he said he was introducing who was going to give the next award, and it was Susan Sarandon and her husband at the time. She was married to what's his name, and he said, "Pay it." Yeah, he goes, and pay attention because I'm sure they're really pissed off about something. It was great. And they came out and did make a speech about something. He goes, and pay attention because I'm sure they're pissed off about something.
Yeah.
Oh, it's too good, man.
I wish I could say that, but I wasn't hip to that. I was part of the Hollywood machine. I worked in Hollywood, and I would go to we'd have big watching parties, at friends' houses, and we'd have a watching party for the premiere of Melrose Place to 90210. We'd have watching parties, Grammy watching parties, Oscar watching parties, and it'd be all
you were in it.
Everyone who worked in the industry, and I used to go to those all the time.
And that's sad for me because I know that the people, like when I did films, the guys that were like the guys that did the hospitality stuff and the guys that set up and the grips and all those people, they're not assholes. They're workers. They work in an industry. It's just the damn people that become famous. Look at what's happened, man. Look at what has happened to what should be, honestly, the coolest town in America. It would be cool if they were royalty. I'm sorry. There was something very cool about the silver screen and these people being like larger than lives and icons. Unfortunately, we started to believe that bullshit, right? Like they were all somehow special and important and perfect. They're more flawed than anybody. They're just like us, except they have the money to cover up any mistake they make. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
So get our money up there, folks, because me and Casper want to take care of all of our mistakes. Now I need a PR firm for F's sake.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am the PR firm. We are the PR firm. It's is this Super Bowl Sunday? Oh, you don't watch football. I don't watch sports, not anymore, man. I played them.
Yeah.
I watched them for a long time, but I don't watch them anymore. It is Super Bowl Sunday, though. Super Bowl weekend. This is the weekend of the Super Bowl. But have no fear, because if you're somebody that does not dig the Super Bowl, I am doing an anti-Super Bowl show on the Lifeboat. I am going to be going for the duration of the game, or a big chunk of it. I'm going to have Johnny Scoville. There's going to be kiddies and all kinds of other stuff. We may even do a couple of stupid commercials, and but we're not going to. Highlight a couple of dumb commercials, but I'm not putting a dollar into the pockets of those people. Now, if you love sports, I'm not hacking on anybody for that. You know what I mean? This is a very personal thing for me. I remember, but I was then too. I was super into it then.
Yeah.
I lost mine. The Super Bowl that Peyton Manning played against, the last one that he played in. That was the last football game I watched. I was at Pahrump. I was in the dorms at Pahrump for that game, sitting on the top rack.
Yeah.
Listening to a borrowed radio.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
What a shithole.
I'm telling you, dude. It's a barn. It's a barn, that place. They bought a General Steel building and turned it into a prison.
Last time I went, they put me in red, and I had an okay time over there. There was lots of drugs, and everyone was high. And
there's a lot of drugs there. That's the easiest place in the world to get drugs into. That place is a sieve. If I was doing time there, dude, I'd have a television set in my cell. I'd have a couch. I'm not joking, man. Look, my first night there, the guy goes, "All right, lock it down," right? And I start walking to my cell, and I look around. I'm like, "What do they give a countdown? Why the hell is nobody moving? Like nobody's moving. I'm the only guy walking to the cell." I'm like, must be like they yell that, and then you have 10 minutes or whatever. 30 minutes later, he's yelling at these guys, "Come on, man, you guys got to get in your cells." I'm like, oh my God. Like, why are you not splitting all of our wigs? By day 3, I'm sitting out there going, "F you, I'm playing a video game. I'm not going anywhere." They don't care. They don't know how to run the place. They really don't. Yeah. It was crazy there. That's privately run. That's one of the only privately run places still in there. Yep, that's a CCA or whatever that's called.
Yeah, Core Civic.
Yeah, Core Civic. That's right. They change it every year. They change the name, but it's
Crossroads,
always the same initials.
Corporation buys it, and all the wardens are part of their CEOs and
Corrections Corp of America. That was the first time I was there with
CCA.
CCA.
A stat yesterday. I think I saved it in the Stars, or it's gone now. But my wife put up a stat yesterday for Core Civic. I can't remember what it was, but she got mad at me that I didn't show it actually.
Good. Definitely come by the lifeboat then. If you're not watching the Super Bowl, you know where to find us. We'll be over there.
Yeah,
the
I'll drop in for a segment.
Who's your what team? What team are you rooting for? Do you know? I don't know who's in it.
Yeah, it's the Eagles and the Chiefs. Generally, I'm a Rams fan, and my second team is the Detroit Lions because of my dad. And neither one of my teams made it, but came really close. So I don't really have any, what's that term, skin in the game. But
no skin in the game.
But I usually watch it. But maybe I will take a break from watch because I don't have a team in it. I really don't care about either one of those teams. I think Mahomes is he's a great quarterback, one of the best of all time. But he's over whatever. Now I wouldn't say overrated because he proves himself. But there's a lot of controversy over the national anthem, and it just seems like too much this year.
Yeah,
it just seems like Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce and all of that.
I didn't realize that KC was in there. See that now I got to go that route because my soon-to-be stepson is a freak about KC. He's going to be losing his mind over this.
Thank you, Katrina.
Totally forgot how much he's into that. So the silent error thing, I don't think we're too far off from getting to the point where they're not going to need actors, right? I mean, you can CGI everything why would you pay somebody $25 million when you could just create an actor that's fake? And then you would never have to worry about him having a scandal or anything like that. You could get a guy that you're just going to use for when he walks out in public and does this one, and that's really all you're paying him for. And you could do the rest of it completely automated. It's going to be a hell of a lot cheaper. I don't see them filming for too much longer. Doesn't make sense.
No, there's some truth to that. And then they're worried about it. And for real, if huge stars like Ryan Reynolds keep coming out to be dirtbags, like I'm blown away. Seriously, I'm blown away because you always thought Ryan Reynolds was one of the good guys.
Oh, man, didn't you though?
You know what I mean? And I was a fan of his.
Good sense of humor. Seemed to really like people.
Have a beer with that guy.
Yeah.
Now I want to see him in a bar. I want to fight him in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying that for effect. Like I would pick a fight with that dude now. When before I'd have been like, man, Ryan Reynolds, man, I'm fanboying right now. Now I would have
fanboyed just especially because of the Deadpool franchise.
Yeah.
But I started going back and looking through interviews from him. And you can go back and look up from the very first interview that he ever did. And if you keep your eyes shut, he is the Deadpool character. That is they typecast him into that. That's who he is. That's how he talks all the time, which means he plays that role always. And allegedly, when he's not playing that role, he's screaming and being a dick. Comment, they have to stop having people come in to sing the national anthem and just pipe in Whitney's version because it was perfection.
It was
booyah.
Perfection.
Wasn't that something? And we had what was going on in the Middle East and all that. We flew the jets over. That was one of those hair on the back of your neck standing up moments. I remember that Super Bowl. Boy, do I remember that. Her voice was incredible. And now, today, people will be placing bets on how long the singer is going to sing the Super Bowl. Vegas will have a line on it, the over-under, right? That always blows me away. It's like, just once, I want to know the singer that's doing the song at the national anthem so I can say, hey, can you guarantee me like 3 minutes and 30 seconds? Because I'm going to bet my house on the fact that you're going to sing it a little bit longer than that, right?
Yeah.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, super crazy.
Well, people talk about how it's impossible. My uncle was captain of the Rams and Steelers Super Bowl ring. Wow. Totally cool. I don't know if anything was rigged then, but I know the pay wasn't great. He started a painting business to support his family.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. People will say, you hear this all the time in sports. You can't fix football because you'd have to pay off a quarterback or something like that. If he's having a bad game, they're going to pull him. You know, you can't really, it's an 11-man sport. You'd have to pay off a team and then you got too many people involved. Man, that's bullshit. That's the story they fly all the time. Pay off the guy that snaps long. Yeah, he makes less than everybody on the team. Pay off the long snapper to put 2 over the head of your punter, right? Or 1 extra point over the head of that guy, and there's your game. Doesn't take much. I promise you, throwing a football game wouldn't be nearly that hard. When they start talking about it, how difficult it would be and all the people you got to pay off.
Oh, yeah. And you know, inside too, whenever we're sweating tickets and something, there's an upset, they're like,
everybody,
oh man, Vegas called that in. Vegas called it in. They didn't want to lose their ass.
I'm so sick of hearing that, man.
I know,
say that because I ran a sports book and they would come up angry at me. Damn it, dude. That thing was on lock until Vegas called and said fix it because they were about to get their wig split. What they don't realize is that algorithm is fixing that bet the entire time. I watched the guy walk up. We were betting college football, and the dude in front of me put down a $20,000 2-team parlay. And I watched what it did to the line. I mean, it changed it like that because Vegas keeps it so that the bets are always, almost spot on. They're taking in a real equal amount of money on both sides. If they're not, they're going to stack the odds so gnarly that they're going to get people to vote the other way until they're right around that. They don't get hurt, man. They don't get hurt. It's been a long time since Vegas got hurt on anything. It used to happen.
Yeah.
There's a great story about a network marketing convention where they had all of the blue diamonds from Amway or whatever. And a guy went in and did a $250,000 parlay on 3 teams showing off. And the 2 guys behind him who had no idea what gambling was bought the same tickets. And when they hit, they shut the sports book down until the following day at 11. That's no shit. That's no shit. Yeah, they got their wig split. But it doesn't happen very often anymore.
Yeah.
And this is really my problem right here. Don't get me started on the halftime show. It's not needed. Do more of the stupid commercials to fill time and just go back to the game. Well, it is needed, Justine. The Carter family needs to make their $75 or $100 million or whatever they're getting paid for this. Rock Nation is the person that is bringing you, or the company that's bringing you the halftime show, brought to you by Voldemort and his disgusting wife. Right? Bringing you satanic garbage crap since 19, what I don't know. Something like that. Even college football has gotten political and it's not fun to watch anymore. Yeah. Kind of, see that? The movie Free Guy made me like Ryan Reynolds. Now I can't stand him. Well, take a number because you're in good company. Hey, if you've not hit the subscribe button here on the After the Bars show, you do know we're both convicts, right? Because we will come to your house and start snapping fingers if you don't hit that subscribe button. Getting a little sick and tired of this garbage. No, I'm kidding. But do hit that subscribe button. And
share it out if you like the show. Yeah, share it out to your friends or have them stop in, check it out, see if they like it. That would be cool. By the way, we ain't going nowhere.
We're not going anywhere. And so we take Sundays off. We're believers. But we will be here on Saturday. And then starting this Monday, we're going to start asking all of you to do the right thing. And, of course, by that I mean watch as much of this as you can. We're going to do our rush to monetization this next week coming up. So by next Friday, we would like to have the Morning Mayhem Show and the After the Bars monetized. So we're going to ask you guys to watch a lot of this stuff on loops and things like that. You've done it before. The easiest way, of course, is just to ask my fiance to ask you guys. Because she gets it done in 6 minutes.
And it does help.
I said that.
It does help the channel. I'm getting ready to quit my day job, and I'll be taking a huge pay cut, but I just enjoy it too much. I really do. And my back is trashed to tattoo any longer. But I've been trying to retire for the last 4 years, so yeah.
You have found the right spot. You're incredibly talented. The things that you do, and I don't know if you've stopped by the Lifeboat to look at the last couple of shows, but look at the comments of all of the people that have come there to say, and they're always trying to give me credit for it. I don't normally answer comments. I felt so guilty that I had to go in and answer all of them and say, dude, I didn't do that. I don't know what I'm doing. That
Oh,
was
the intro. Yeah.
The intro and the outro are just so fantastic. And Reese goes, oh my God, I cannot believe how good he is at that. I said, yep, he's got the hang of it. That's my guy. That's my guy.
Sir, I love
it.
But
you know what? And I'm so glad that you do. And I'm glad that you're going to be, that you're going to have an opportunity to do this full time. It's what you're good at. And you're going to, you're not going to believe what the next 2 years is going to bring people. And I'll tell you right now, I am in the process. I'm hunting down the tour bus for the team, because when Sean Combs goes to trial, the lifeboat is going to be there, and hopefully you're going to be out there for part of that with me too. I'm hoping that you're going to be making the trip, at least for part of it. I know you got family and such, but we're not. We're going to bring it to you, folks. If they're not going to allow a camera in the courtroom, I'm going to be the camera.
And I could draw the scene wherever I see.
Absolutely. We were talking about this one day between the two of us, with my memory and your ability to actually to draw it. We could bring you the entire thing. We could tell you what happened, and good to go. Galen, thank you for the support. Those days are coming too, folks. There actually will be we're going to do some membership stuff. It's going to be different than the boat. The membership stuff is going to be, there's going to be a lot of stuff that we do that you're going to have access to. Where with the boat's kind of, we do a lot of charitable stuff on the boat. That's why people support. But here, you're going to get cool stuff. Some of the stuff that we put behind the paywall will be to protect us from demonetization, because sometimes he curses like a sailor. And then some of the stories and things. Alicia, do me a favor. And I have the pictures for you, but I could not find your address. So send me an email to tommyscoble@gmail.com, and I'll get the photos to you today. I have the pictures taken. And on that note, people, I'm going to go lay down on a heating pad, but I am going to go live on the lifeboat as soon as I get my back into a slightly better fiddle, because right now I'm feeling it. Casper, you are a gentleman and a scholar.
You too, my sir, my good sir.
I can't back that up. I really can't. But you're a hell of a guy. No, for real. It's my man. All right, folks, get ready for the coolest ending in the history of morning shows, and we will see you tomorrow. Between now and then, tell people about us, would you? All right.
Yep.
Hold on.
Mahalo.
Actually, hit that thing.